Okay, I'm back. Last time I installed my bat wing fairing on my 2015 Stateline VTX1300. Now I am going to install a backrest and some saddlebags. I picked these saddlebags up from Viking. I didn't go with the Honda ones because the Hondas are very expensive. So I'll show you some things I did already. I already drilled some holes. You have to drill holes in the fender for the saddlebag and the insulation and the backrest. Now the way I did this to figure out, there's two holes, mount places on the frame. It's just the holes aren't there for them. So what I did, I thought of different ways I could figure out where to drill, but what I did, I just got me a screw, a sharp screw, and I reached up behind. I put the screw through and just pushed onto the fender and scratched. And I did that all four spots, here, here, and then on the other side. And so that when I took the fender off, I saw the areas that were scratched. And I drilled a small pilot hole. And then I made sure the holes lined up. I put the fender back on into place to make sure the holes lined up. And then I made the holes bigger using a step drill. Just picked up a cheap step drill from Harbor Freight. They're cheap and does the job great. So I already drilled those holes and they do line up just perfect. There's that mount bolt hole and there's that mount bolt hole. They line up perfect. Now to do this, the way you have to take the fender off, first you take the seat off. There's a mount right here. You pull that bolt out, and then up here behind this, and then on the other side, you just pop this off. Try to do it one-handed. And right up, it's hard to do this one-handed, but, so then right up here, there is a bolt here, and the same thing on the other side. You take those two out, and the seat will come out. And then once you have the seat out, there's two little plastic pins on the front of the fender. You just pop those out, and then you have to take this back license plate light bracket off. And to do that, you remove these, you take off the license plate, and there's one bolt under here. You'll see it once the license plate bracket is off. And then there's two screws underneath, one right here and one on the other side, and then this top plastic piece will come off, and there's two bolts right here and here. You take them off, you disconnect the lights, and then the fender just pops right off. And then, like I said, then you'll see where you scratched the two holes. You drill the two little holes and then use a step drill to drill them bigger. And so that's where we are right now. And so now I'm ready to start on the saddlebag installation. Now, I've already done some of it. These are my saddlebags. And there's the hardware. And what you do first is you take the saddlebag and you hold it up into place. You can have somebody else do it and position it right where you want it. And then when you have it where you want it, back here, you mark where the holes are on the back of the saddlebag. And so you'll mark the 2 top mount bolts right there and there. That's where I marked them. I already drilled them. And then once you have your 2 marks, which I already drilled, you have a mark there and there, you take your brackets and you set them on here over the hole, over your 1 mark, and then you use the bracket to mark where you need your other hole. And then you do the same over here. And you make sure you put this in the cross so that you know that's where you need to drill all your 4 holes for your saddlebag. So that's where I am now. And I marked them and I drilled the 4 holes. So we have this one drilled. And they say the best way to drill the other one is you set them back to back. So we'll move this over here. You set them back to back. Then I'll open it and transfer the holes. I'll make sure they line up perfectly. I'll open them up and I'll drill the holes from the inside from one to the other, and then we know the holes will line up. Pretty simple. So I will get that done here now. Okay, I did it. I set them right on top of each other. I set this bottom one on a piece of plastic to make sure nothing doesn't get scratched up. Set the other one on top that I already drilled, and then I opened it up, and from the inside what I did, I used a smaller drill bit, and in each of the holes I stuck it through and scratched the back of the other one, and so it transferred the holes, and then I drilled them. There, 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 and there. So I have, and then I made sure with these brackets that they did line up. So I got the holes drilled in the back of the saddlebags. Got the holes drilled on my Fender. And so it's ready to put everything together. Okay. Okay, so I got them bolted on. So here's how they look. I think it looks pretty sharp. I like those bags. They look nice. They're big. Looks like they got a lot of room in them. Very nice. So there's the installation. I put the backrest between a spacer and the bracket for the saddlebags. I think that worked out best. And they seem on there pretty sturdy. Those aren't going anywhere. They're not getting in the way of anything. So they look pretty good. Some things I did, I would recommend while installing. It tells you to drill the holes 1/4 inch. Well, the top bolts for the mount of the bike, they need to be 3/8. And what I recommend, I ended up doing it, is all 4 holes drill 3/8, because that gives you a little play when you're hooking up all the brackets, just in case you're a little off. So that would be my biggest recommendation there. I made sure I installed them high enough that they didn't interfere with anything. The exhaust, there's the brake caliper. So other than that, okay, so there it is. There's your Viking saddlebags, the backrest and luggage rack, and finally the bat wing. I think it all looks pretty good. Okay, well, I hope it helped you. Okay, bye.